Hello YouTube, my name is Mike Jacobson, and I wanted to share how I've been using my Roland TD27 drum module to create a hybrid electronic drum kit in the live setting. I know sample pads like the SPD-SX are the more popular option, but depending on your needs, you might not need to spend that money. If you're clicking on this video, I'm assuming you already do have some sort of electronic drum module, and if you already have that, why spend extra money when you don't have to? I find the ergonomics and muscle memory of my setup to be superior to a sample pad anyway. I never really liked having a pad off to one side. All the pads kind of, I don't know, it just felt awkward. And I have seen people remove their rack toms and put it there, but I don't really want to do that either. So I started to go this route. Like I mentioned in the intro, the module featured in this video is the Roland TD27 here. And what I really like about this module in particular is it does have 3 auxiliary inputs. So you could plug in any old extra Roland pads. You know, this is an old hi-hat, some old crashes, old tom. Any old pads you have, plug them into auxes 1 through 3. And that way when you're going to a show, you don't necessarily have to bring the whole snake and just have a bunch of unused cable lying around. It's a little bit cleaner of a setup. I don't know if you could see here, but I've used the old crash cymbal stand to mount my module and one of my pads. So that way, when I'm playing a show, original music, and we're on a bill with multiple bands, there's not a whole lot of time to set up. So this is like an all-in-one. All I have to really do is just put this next to the hi-hat and plug it in. And then usually I'll bring this extra cymbal on the stand, and it's just one cable between the two. But like I said, I like the ergonomics and the muscle memory of this. Like for example, for my standard setup here, my baseline kit, I call it the Jackson Wolf kit because I'm in a R&B trio, and it's just, for the electronic sounds, it's just a replica of an acoustic kit, you know, maple toms, brass snare, normal cymbals. But anyhow, for this kit, I will typically have this cymbal right here as my clap. I used to use clap stacks in the past, but I found that they didn't cut through the mix without miking it. And like I said before, with the original bills, quick changeovers, you know, you got 15 minutes. You don't always have time to set that up. I'll usually have my clap here. I like having a snap, you know, we play a song like My Girl or something like that. And then you got to have your chimes. It's become almost a meme in my bands how much I use these chimes, but I enjoy having them. And I assume that real chimes, I've actually never owned a pair, but I think that would need to be mic'd too. So I think it just makes it simple to have that running through the PA. So I guess how this all came about is when we were recording Modern Daybreak's debut album. It's called Sound of Nothing. At that point, I was no longer allowed to record real drums in my house, and we realized that with the built-in USB interface, we could record all the drums in isolation with the overhead and room simulation. So then we started to get kind of creative, and we would start assigning just the built-in sounds to the auxiliary pads. Like for example, for Moth, I love having the electronic like 909 crash. I feel like it's a cool sound to add on top. Later on, I actually started importing samples from the studio recordings. For an example, we made an intro to Moth using my Nord synth pad, and then I was able to export that sample out of Logic into this module here. So when we start the song Moth, I hit this pad. And it's kind of like having backing tracks without having to do all the click track and just everyone being perfect to the grid. So it's kind of like my way of adding that extra sparkle without going all in. Like I said, for the original shows where you don't have a lot of time to set up, it's not always ideal to have to worry about in-ear monitors and all that. I mean, if we had more time, bigger production, I'd love to do it. But for right now, where we're at in our career, I find this method easier. And then another reason I like this setup is when you're going through a set list, I have all my kits and sounds saved here so I could kind of scroll through. Like, for example, here's another one where, like for white noise, I've been using these bells here. So when I play the tom beat, here's a little example there. Or like this one, Morning Dove. I know, sorry, I haven't played that song in a while. But that pad right there is always going to be the dove sound to start off the song. Ritual, we got these funny noises I put in there. You know, it's kind of goofy. Or for like a song Splendor, I use this pad. I'd love for you to guess in the comments what that noise is, but it's something that I recorded in my basement, and I think it's funny. That's just a brief overview. But yeah, so when we play live, since I recorded all the songs with these pads the way they are, every time I play the song, I just remember, or practice it, which sound goes with which pad for each kit. Now, another thing you could do with this module, which I think is really cool, is with the SD card, you could use the song button, and then you got to hit this button right here to go to SD. You could use this to put in backing tracks, which I find convenient if you need it. But then you could also add your own samples here. Like here's one where I play when we play the song Memories of Mars.
So what do you want to do next? Go to Mars, dude.
I got this one. This one's kind of funny.
Hey, come on! Relax, Dan!
Or this one. For our song River Above, we actually didn't record this one with electronic drums, so there is no specific kit. So that's why I just put that sample into this menu. So yeah, just to tie everything together, since I do record with this kit, and I do take advantage of some of the more wacky and fun sounds that Roland offers, it just makes it really easy when I want to add those sounds live. Like I said, the muscle memory, like when I'm going through and playing the song, I know which pad is going to be for which song. And you can see here, this is my DW acoustic kit with the module set up and the pads in very similar position as if they were on my electric kit. Just makes it really easy to keep it all straight in my brain. So yeah, that'll about do it for this video. And I guess my point is, obviously you probably could do a lot of the things I talked about with a sample pad, but you don't always have to buy a new piece of gear. You could sometimes just take advantage of what you have and make it work for you. So yeah, that's how I use my existing drum module that I already had to make a hybrid electronic drum kit. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe if you found this video useful. Thank you.